So now let's have a look on the next project which we'll be working on. So this is the project. So this is basically a notes application. Here we can create different notes. Let's say in here we can click on this plus icon. Let's say I'll give this a title of, let's say, exam, and my exams are from 12 April, right, 2020, right? So if I click on the save, here the notes is saved. If you want to see that exam note in detail, you will click on this, and here you can see this exam. My exam are from 12 April. If you want to update it, you can update it. Right now, maybe you can change the date of, let's say, exam UPDAT update, and here instead of 13/12 I can put 13 in here. We can click on this update note. Now this will update, right? This will update this particular record in here or particular note. Here you can see this content is also updated. Yeah, this is what we'll be building. Now I know this project seems simple, but the main purpose of this section is to understand context API. Yeah, to just understand the context API. That is why we are creating this project. We'll be using context in this project heavily because so far we have used Redux quite heavily, but we haven't tested context much. So in this project we'll be targeting context and we'll nail down the context. So the main purpose of this project is to understand context. That is why this project is simple, I know, but you will understand the context, right, after creating this project. Yeah, so I'll see you in the next video. So now let's start working on our notes application. So what I have done, I have created an empty project with Expo, and I have also installed the React navigation version 5 as well, because we have done that too many time, and I don't wanted to waste my time in installing this, right? So if you can go to docs and install that, right? So you need to install this React navigation / native package. You need to install these packages as well, right? You can copy it from the in here from the documentation, and we'll be making use of Stack Navigator, so you need to install the Stack Navigator as well, right? So you can do that. We have done it so many times, so it's a kind of a easy stuff, right? I don't want to waste time in it. Okay, so let's jump up in this coding, right? So what I will do first, let's wire up a little bit of the navigation in here. So I'll import something from React React native stack, and I'll duplicate it code, and I'll import something from stack as well, right? In here sta, yeah, like so, and something is called navigation container, and in here create stack navigator, like so, and here we can create a constant variable in here. Let's give it a name of stack, and this will be equal to create stack navigator, like so. And inside this app, what I will do, I will get rid of this, and I will get rid of this styles also, and I will use this vi navigation container. We have done this too many times, right? So there's nothing new in it. So stack.navigator, and we'll pass our screens inside this stack navigator. So let's do that as well. Stack.screen, and we can self close it, but right now we don't have any screen, so let's create one screen, right? Let's I'll create a folder. I'll give it a name of source. Inside the source I'll create one more folder. Let's give it a name of, let's say, screns, screens, and inside this screens let's give it a name of list notes, notes scren.js. yeah, what I will do, I will copy these two lines to save a little bit of a time, and I'll paste it in here, and I'll create a function, and const and list notes screen, and this will be equal to an arrow function, and this will return and some JSX, and for now we can return a simple view with the text component inside in it, and it will show, let's say, notes app, right? And we need to export this component as well. So export, and we'll export it as a default, and list notes screen, right? So now we can import this, right? So we can import this, import uh, list notes SEREN from dot slash. Inside src we have screens, and inside screen we have list note screen. And now we need to here give a name prop, and name prop will be, let's say, notes, right? And this will show a component list note screen, list note screen. Let's save this and let's have a look in our emulator. So it's refreshing. Here we can see we have this default kind of a header, right, which is coming because we have made use of stack navigator, right? And here we can see notes app text. Oh, this is fine, right? Okay, now we will structure things differently. What I will do, I will get rid of this export default, right? And instead here I'll put export default in here. Oh, not this, export default, and I'll export default another function which will return this app component. Now why I'm doing this, because very soon we'll be making use of context and we'll wrap our app component with the context. Yeah, that is why I'm doing this way, right? If I save this, nothing will change, right? Okay, everything will work as it was working earlier. Okay, so now let's create our context, right? Yeah, then I'll be explaining you more. Inside the source file here, we'll create a folder. Let's give it a name of untixt, right? And inside this context, we'll create, let's say, notes context.js, right? And inside this, I can copy these two lines in here. Control C. I'll paste these two lines in here, and I'll create a context, and I can create context const, and I will give it a name of, let's say, notes context, and I need to pull out create context, right, from React, create context, and I'll call that create context like so. So we have created. So let me export this so that we can import in our another component. So I have exported it, and here you can see we haven't exported it as a default, so we can destructure this note context, right? So we'll destructure it, right? So we'll import. So we can use this bracket, right, because we haven't exported this note context as a default. So we can use this brackets, and it will come from /src/context/notes context, and I'll destructure notes context. And what I can do, I can pull out the provider from this context, and I can wrap my app with the provider. What was the name? Notes context. And no, yeah, this note context, and it has something called as provider, and I'll wrap my app with the provider. Control X. Now why we are wrapping our app context with the provider? Because all the screens are nested inside this app component, right? And that is why we are wrapping this app with the provider, so that all the screens which are nested inside our app component can access our context, right? Access our data or context, you can say, right? That is why we are wrapping our root component, which is app component, with this provider, because all the components will be nested inside the app component, so all the components can make use of it. That is why we are wrapping our app component with this provider. And here we need to also give a value prop, and let's say we'll give a value, let's say for now 10. Now let's see, here we have nested our this list node screen inside this app component. Now let's see how our list node screen can take this or access this value. Let's see how it can do. So I'll go to this, and I'll import first of all the context, or yeah, import and something from dot slash, or not dot slash, instead we need to go one directory up, and inside here, because we need to go move out of the screen, right, because context is lying here, not inside. So for that we can put a dot to move one directory up. Now in here we have context, and inside this context we have node context, and I can destructure node context from in here, and I need one more thing, that is use context. To use this context, use context, and I'll here write const data, and this will be equal to use context, and inside this we'll passing our notes context like so. And let's duplicate this, and let's here output the data. Right here we can write data like so. Now let's save this and let's have a look. So here you can see we have the here 10, right, printing, right? So this is how we can access, right? This is how any screen can access our data. So they need to use this use context and the name of the context, right, in order to provide the context. So we will wrap our root component, which is app component, with this provider, and here we can give a value. Now you know how we have structured is good, but we can structure it in a more better way. How? Let's do that first. So I'll come to this notes content here. I'll create a component, and let's give it a name of notes provider, and I'll assign this to a function, and this will return notes context, and from there here we can access this provider. And let me write a little bit of the code. So here from the props I'll destructure chil children from the props, children children, and here I'll write children here. What the hell I'm doing, I'll explain it in just a minute. First let me finish writing the code, because it's too much difficult for me to explain as well write the code on the same time. I'll explain it, right? I'll make things clear, don't worry for now. I'll put export so that I can import this in another component. So I'll export it now in here inside this app. Instead of pulling the context, I'll put pull provider, not this provider, instead notes provider, which we, not notes context, notes provider, which we created. Yeah, this one, right? So I'm pulling out now in this app component. Now what I can do in here, I can remove this line of code, or instead I can here use notes provider, notes provider like so. And I'll grab this ending tag, Control X, and I'll put it in here, right? And I'll save this, and here we need to give a value as well. So let's say I'll give a value of, let's say, maybe 12 for now. Let's save this and let's see the output on calculator. No, everything should work as it was working earlier. So here you can see the 12 is being created. Now what the hell this children prop is doing for us? So children prop is basically available in React.js, right? So this is not something special which is available in React Native. This is available in React.js, and we are taking advantage of it. So what the children is doing is, for us, is basically we are accessing a app component inside the children prop, because we have wrapped our app component with this notes provider, right? With this notes provider, so we are accessing this app in the children prop in here. So basically I'm here receiving apps, and I'm here passing app like so, as we were doing earlier, right? Not this way, this way, right? So this is equivalent, right? What we have done now is equivalent to what we did previously, right? So technically I'm receiving app in here and I'm passing app in here, right? So technically app is wrapped with the provider, and it has access, all the components which are nested inside the app has access to this value. Yeah, so this is the logic behind this children prop. So we are taking advantage of the children thing which is available in React.js. Let's save this. Everything should work as it was working earlier. Yeah, so we just played around with a little bit of the context, right? Now I think this is enough for the video. No, one more thing is we can change this header. Maybe we can change the title, and we can center this title. Yeah, we can center this text, right? Okay, let's see how to do that. I'll come to here. What I will do, first of all, I'll write everything on a new line, and in here we can give options, and in the options we have a title, I guess. You know, if you want to know what all things you can put in here, you can press Ctrl and space. Now this will give you all the stuff which you can put in here. So here you can see We can give header back, header background, header left, header right, and lots of stuff. Here you can see header text line. So I need this, and I want to center my text. Center, and I'll also change the title in here. Let's say title title, and the title will be, let's say, all notes. Let's save this, and if we have a look, and our title is nicely centered out and the text is also changed, right? Okay, so I think this is enough for this video. I'll catch you guys up in the next video. So now let's add reducer in a project, right? Okay, so let me write a little bit of the code and then I'll explain you. So in here, inside the source, we'll create a folder and we'll give a name of reducer, reducer. And inside this, let's create redu, or we can give it a name of, let's say, notes reducer.js. Okay, and reducer is basically a simple function in here. Okay. Const reducer and like so. And okay, so reducer has access to state and action, right? And for now we can use switch case, right, in here as wit, or we can, for now we can return state. For now we can return state simply, right? We'll change this logic very soon. We'll be adding different cases, right? For now we can just return state in here, and I'll put an export keyword before, so that for this video, so that I can import in other components. What I will do, I will create our initial state in here. Yes, this is how we were structuring our app in previously, right? So let's follow that structure here as well. Okay, so here our initially const, let me give this a name of initial state, and initially let's say we'll have an array in here. Inside this array we will have a title, title, and let's say tit1 and I'll put a comma, and I will duplicate this 2-3 times, 1 2 3, and I'll put a title 2 and title 3. Yeah, for now this is our initial data. Let's see how we can access our data. I'll put a const here as well, export here as well, and we need to link this to, right? How we can do that? By using use reducer hook, right? So I'll come to this nodes context, and here I'll pull out use reducer hook, right? Now in here we can make use of this use reducer hook, and use reducer hook takes first argument of reducer. So we need to pull our reducer, so I'll import something from // reducer / notes reducer and reducer, right, like so. And if you want to rename this, you can rename it. Let's rename it as notes reducer. We can rename this by using this as, right? Or if you want, you can put it here reducer, only reducer. You don't need to rename it, but we are making renaming because we can understand easily, right? Okay, here we'll be passing our notes reducer in here, notes reducer, and we need to also give this initial state, so which we have created in here. So I can destructure that as well in here, comma initial state, and I will pass this initial state in here, initial state, and this reducer will return us an array with 2 elements in it. So I can destructure those 2 elements. First element I'll give it a name of state, and second element will be dispatch, dispatch, like so. Now in this value I can pass this state, or I'll pass an object, right, object which will have 2 keys, state, which will be equal to state, and another is dispatch will be equal to dispatch, like so. Now here you can see that this key and the value both are same, so I can condense it down to just state, and I can condense this down to just dispatch, right, like so. And now what I can do, we are passing our state, right, uh, via provider. So now we can access the state and dispatch in all the components which are nested inside the app component, right. I'll save this file. Let's see how I can access this data, right. So I'll come to this node component, and instead here I can write notes data, and I can here import flat list, because I will output all the, right, I will iterate over the array and I'll output all the titles, so I can get rid of this right in here. Instead I'll be making use of flat list, and I can self close it. First I need to give this a data prop, and data will be coming from this notes data, and notes data, yeah, this one. And here we can add a key extractor, right, because whenever we are iterating we need to give it a unique key, right. Here we have access to maybe item, right, or not, like so, item. And let's say we'll give a id as a title as a id, right. So yeah, we can, for now we'll from item we can access title. So we are giving this title as a id, okay, and it's completely fine. Here what render item, and this is basically an function, and from function we want just an item, right. We have done this previously, right, as well, so there is no big deal in it. And we'll return from it maybe a view, or maybe for now we can return a just text, and this will print item.title, like so. And if we save this and let's have a look in here, I will cross our finger. I think everything should go correctly. Invalid hooks can be only inside a body of function. Okay, we have done something wrong in here. Oh my bad. Control X, and I will write it here. Save it, and everything should work as it was working earlier. Oh, not earlier. No, we are not able to access data. Oh, let's see what went wrong. We are passing a state, we are passing our initial data, and we are returning a state, right. So whatever reducer returns is the updated state, right. Whatever reducer returns is the state. And what went wrong? Oh, I got it. I did a very silly mistake in here. Now from this context we are receiving two things. One is the state and one is the dispatch, right? Yeah. So we can destructure both the things. For now I need only a state, right? Yeah. So here we can pass our state, like so. If we save this, and it should work. Here you can see we have this tiny titles printing on our screen. So maybe we can increase a little bit of this text in here. I'll give a style in here, and I will increase the font size, and let's give this a 22. Let's see how it looks like. And yeah, it is decent. We'll be adding more style. Now what I want to do is I want to make this data dynamic, right. So what I will do is I'll import button from this React Native button, and maybe here I can use that, like so. And here we can give the title to that button. Let's say add simply adds, right. Okay, simple add, and that's it. Okay, let's see if we are getting this button in here. Yeah, we are getting. Okay, fine. Now I will come to this reducer file. Inside I'll make use of switch, switch, and in here I'll write action dot type and in here let's say case, and let's say if the action type is add, then we'll do something, then we'll return our array and I will spread the array, right? And then I can add a new stuff in this, right? So here I'll add a title and title title, and here I can use backticks, and here I'll be using this title title, and here I can concat maybe the length of this, yeah, maybe this or state dot length length, and I can increment it by 1. Yeah, so title 1, title 2, title 3, this is how we'll be appending our titles in this array, right? Yeah, and for the first time it will return us an empty array, so I can get rid of this and I can make a array empty. Now I'll save this, and let's dispatch this action, this add action, right? Add action with the type of add from our list screen, and we have access to dispatch from this use context. We can access dispatch dispatch dispatch. I know this context and redux are too tough, right? If you are watching this video for the first time or you are dealing with the context for the very first time, I know it's tough. It's tough. We are dealing with a lots of code in here, and I can completely understand it's tough, right? You need to watch video 2-3 times, and you need to do code along with me to understand better. So here I can add an on press button, and this button will dispatch dispatch an action with type of add, right? Yeah, for now we'll be not be passing payload in here. Let's save and let's see if our titles becomes dynamic. So here I'll be clicking on this add, and I think I have done something wrong in here. Am I able to click this type add? Let me go to this reducer, add return. In here I can add a first of all default case control X inside this switch, and here I can write def default. Let's save this. No, this will not make a much of the change in here. Oh, we are getting now. Okay, it's working, right? Okay, it's working now. Okay, so you can see we are getting our titles, right? We are dispatching our action which has a type of add, and we are appending the title by incrementing with 1, right? With the length we are incrementing by using this state.length, and we are here incrementing this 1 2 3 4 5, right? And we are concatenating that number with this title, right? So yeah, this is nice. Okay, this is nice. But this button is looking too ugly, and which we have imported the button from this React Native, and React Native doesn't allow much of the customization for, let's say we want to smaller the text, and we can't do that, right? What we can do is only change the background. Yeah, we cannot do much of the customization with the button, right, which we have imported from React Native. So I'll import touchable opacity instead. Touchable opacity instead, and instead of this button I'll use touchable opacity, and in here I'll write a text. Let's say for now I'll write a plus in here, right? And I can give a little bit of style to this, style to this, and let's say position will be absolute, and from the bottom bottom bottom, let's say 5 units up, and from the RIGST right maybe 5 units. We'll have a look how it looks like, and if we save this, let's see how it looks like. And can't find variable button. Okay, for now I can comment this out, right? And I'll dismiss this. I think I need to add a flex of 1 to this root view. Let's save this. And yeah, we are getting the text in here. Okay. Yeah, I was correct. Okay. So we are getting a text in here. Instead, we'll be using an icon. Don't worry for now. Or we can use it. I'll import something from uh, at the rate expo slash vector icons. Let's search for vector icons. Let's see if we have something called as plus in here, and we have that, right? So maybe this from the ant design, we can use that from the ant design. Okay, so we'll be using that ant design, and instead of this text here we can make use of this ant design. I can self close it. I'll give this a size of, let's say, 30, and color will be, for now let's see if how it looks like. And I think something went wrong. Oh, I forgot to give a name. Oh man, what I am doing today. plus, my bad. Okay, we can see a plus. What I will do, I will add a little of kind of a background to this. BACKGROUND background COLOR. Let's say BLU. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, I will add couple of more styles. Let's say here width will be, let's say, 80, and HEIGST height will be 80, and border RADI radius half of 80, that is 40, and I will center the this icon. For that I can add ALIGN 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 ITEMS items center, and also justify content USTIFI CONTENT and center. Let's see how now it looks like. Okay, it's a perfect circle. Awesome. All we need to do is to change the color of this. So color will be WHIT white. If we save this, now it's too beautiful. Maybe the size width is too big. Maybe I can just write here 60, like so. 60, and the border's radius will be the half of that, maybe 330. Let's save this. Yeah, it is decent now, and it's clickable. Not, we'll make it clickable. We will attach on press props in here. So here we can attach here on press. We can use this touchable opacity to make anything clickable, right, by wrapping this, right? So in here on press we'll fire a function which will do the same thing which is button was doing. So I can copy this entire on press, Control X and Control V, like so, and I can get rid of this button now. Let's save this, and if I click in here, why the hell this is not working in here? Let's comment these three things, and let's save this. Oh, it is working now. Oh, my bad. Wow. This was a strange. Yeah, this was a kind of a really strange. Okay. Let me give this position absolute. It is not working with position absolute, I guess so. Yeah, okay, fine. That was the reason basically. This is not working with the position absolute. This is strange. This is really strange. Okay, it's okay. So I'll remove these three lines, and I will give this a margin from top of, let's say, 5 units, and let's save this, and okay, it's fine. And I can center the button. Kind of a floating action button we have. So I'll create another view in here. and I will put all the things inside this view, and here I'll give align items and center. Let's save this. Yeah, it's decent, okay. We can increase the margin to, let's say, 10 in here. Let's save this. Yeah, it's decent here, right? Let's click on this and everything is working. Okay, it's decent, right? Okay, so now let's work on this title, because right now this is looking too ugly, right? Let's work on that as well. What I will do, I will wrap this with, first of all, with the view, because we'll be adding a kind of a delete icon as well. So, and I'll aligning this to both row wise, and let's search for that, right? Let's search for delete. Yeah, we have that. Yeah, from art design. Okay, it's beautiful. Or we have something called trash from art design. No, icon is basically delete, right? Okay, delete from art design. Okay, we can use that. We have already imported art design, right? Okay, so in here I'll write ant ANTDE design, and I can self close it, and the name will be DELET, and size will be, let's say, maybe 24. Yeah, and yeah, let's save this and let's have a look. Okay, we have this nice delete button in here, icon. What I will do, I will give this view a little bit of style to center out the stuff, or to, first of all, I'll change the flex direction in here. Flex direction will be row, and here we can add justify content, and I'll write space between. Let's see how now it looks like. Okay, it's decent. We'll add couple of more styles. Now in here you can see they don't have enough margin from the left and the right, so we'll give a little bit of the margin from both left and right. For that, here we can add margin horizontal, MARGIN HORIZONTAL. Now this horizontal is basically, will add a margin from left and right from both the direction. Let's say here, right, let's write here 10 in here. Margin, I have made a typo, HORIZONTAL. Oh, this will be a just number. I have just put it inside the quotes. Okay, if we reload this, and okay, we'll add title. Okay, here you can see we have a kind of margin from right and left from both the direction, right? If you want to give margin from both the direction, you can make use of it. Okay, we'll add couple of more styles. We'll add, let's say, padding little bit of, let's say, 10, and we'll add elevation for the little, to give little bit of shadow, ELEVA, elevation, and let's say 4. Let's see how now it looks like. And for some reason elevation is not working out. Maybe because we haven't given a margin bottom in here. I'll give a margin from BOTT bottom, and this will be 5. Let's save this. And for some reason elevation doesn't work, and what I will do, I will refresh this, and sometime it happens. Let's try now. Still not working. Maybe I need to change the background. Oh yeah, maybe let's try to change the background to white, BACKGROUND background color, and let's write here white. Let's save this, and yeah, I was correct, because right now background and the shadow color both were same. That is why we were not able to see. Yeah, it is decent. It is looking beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, we have nicely outputted our cards, right? And I'm loving what I have done, right? Okay, we can give this card a margin little bottom as well, right? Where is our yeah, from here we have used margin top. Now I want to add top margin from top as well as from the bottom. In that case, I can use here margin vertical. Yeah, VERTICAL. Let's save this now, and we have now a little bit of the margin in here. Okay, it's beautiful. So I think this is enough for the video, right? We'll be working further in the next video. I'll see you guys in the next video. So now let's see how we can add how we can delete the individual note, right? Okay, let's see how we can do that. So in order to delete that, we need to add a ID to every record. Where is our context or where is our reducer? We need to add ID in here. So we'll add a ID, and for now we'll be uh, randomly generating ID by using this math dot random, right? So this will randomly generate an ID, okay? And now what I will do, I will output this ID as well. Let's save this, and inside this list notes, maybe I can output ID below in here. Maybe I can duplicate this code, and from the item I will print the ID. Let's see if this is working right. If I click on this, so here you can see we are getting this ID, right, which is uh, randomly generating by using that maths.random. Okay, so now let's see how we can delete a particular note, right, or particular this record. Let's see how we can do that. For that, first of all, we'll be coming on to the reducer, and we'll be adding a case of that, right? So we'll be adding case of, let's say, remove, and in here this will return. And here we can make use of filter, right? Filter is basically a method which is available to array, filter. Let me write the code first. And filter basically takes a function. It will receive an individual node, right? And in here we will compare action dot paylod payload. We'll be passing an ID as a payload. I'll write a condition. A payload is not equal to note dot id. This is how. So if this condition will true, then only our note will return, right? Okay, I'll explain you. First of all, let me finish with the code part. I'll explain you what this is doing, right? If you are not able to understand it, I'll explain. First of all, I will save this, and let's pass id as a payload, right? We'll be passing id as a payload when we'll be clicking on that button, right? Where is our button? Okay, here's our button. So here I can add an on press to this on press, and we will dispatch an action on press. We will dispatch an action, and it will have a type of remove, right? remove, and I'll pass paylod payload. Payload is basically a kind of a data. For now we'll be passing an ID, and we have access to the ID in the item, right? item.id. As you can see, we have this we are receiving this item, and item has access to the ID. For now I can get rid of this text, right? Yeah, it was just to demonstrate you, or just to show you that we are receiving an ID. Okay, let's save this, and let's see if the record is being deleted. So I'll click create some records, and if I click on this delete, and for some reason this is not working out. First let me console.log payl. I forgot here L. Okay, let's save this, and let's see one more time. If I click on it, okay, it's deleted. It is getting deleted. Okay, now let me show you why this is working. So let's say I want to delete this third node. When I will be clicking, I will be passing the ID of the title third, right? I will be passing the ID of the third record, right? And this is ID is being now this ID is being passed in here. Now we are comparing that if the ID which we have passed, that is 3, is equal to this. No, for the first record the ID is not equal, so this first is written as it is, right? For the second record, again the ID is not equal to what we passed. Now in the third case, now ID is equal to what we passed, so the third element is being filtered out because of this condition, right? So this is how this works. Okay, so yeah, and this filter basically completely returns a new array basically based on the base of this condition. If you are not able to understand still, then you can Google about the filter, how filter works. Okay, your JavaScript should be strong, right, if you are taking this course. Okay, yeah. So filter basically creates a whole new array if this condition is true, right? On the basis of this condition, it returns an element, right? If the condition become true, it returns a particular record and it returns whole new array, right? So right now it is returning the whole new array. If let's say if we are deleted it, so it is returning a whole new array with the third item being filtered out. Okay. So yeah, so we added a remove functionality in there. So I will be catching you guys in the next video. We'll be adding more functionality, we'll be adding more screens, we'll be doing a lot of fun, we'll be mastering context, don't worry. So I'll see you guys in the next video. So let's move further. So right now what we are doing is user is able to click on this plus button and the title is dynamically being generated. But what now I want is if user clicks on this plus button, it should be able to navigate to another screen, and then on there they can add title and content. Let's see how to do that. Okay. So now application will take a shape, right? It is taking a shape. So here I'll create one more screen, that is create note SCREEN.js, and I will go to this and I will copy some stuff in here. Maybe these two lines, Control C and Control V to save a little bit of the time. Now here I can write const create notes SCREEN and I can return for now a view, not this with the view with the small v, capital V. Okay, and for now here we can write text and create, and we can export it, export, export it as a default, efa default create create note screen, like so. Let's save this. Now we will be we have exported, so we can go to our app.js. Now here we can import this screen. Let's write it here, import create note SCREEN from /src/scr screen / create note screen. And now in here I can duplicate this, Alt Shift down key. Here I will give create as a name, create, and in here I can write create, not like this, create note, right? And text will be center and it will show create create note screen, like so. If we save this and this is refreshing in here, and if we click on this plus, still, oh, we haven't added that logic of navigating. So we have added the navigation, right, in the both the screens. So we have access to the navigation prop, right? So let's make use of it. Where is our notes, or not this list notes? And now in here, if user clicks on this plus button, instead of dispatching add, here we will destructure the navigation prop, navigation, and in here we'll use this navigation dot navigate to create screen, create screen. Make sure the name is same as you gave it here, right? Create, right? Okay, let's save this and let's see if this works. If I click on this plus, it is able to navigate to the create note screen. Okay, yeah, it's fine, it's beautiful. Okay, so now what we will do is we will work on this create note screen. Okay, so right now we want in here is the text input, right? And yeah, and in here First of all, I'll give this flex of 1, and I will increase the font size 22. Let's say write enter title title, and we will then make use of the text input. I can self close it, and I need to use state hook in here because we will be syncing our app with the state, right? Use state, and in here const maybe ti title and set title. To update the title, set title title and use state. And right now this will be an empty string. I can duplicate that, Alt Shift down key, and here I can write content content and set content, set content, and yeah. So here we can sync the value with this title, right? title, and on change text on text on change text, yeah, this one. On change text, we will be simultaneously updating our text, so whatever text we will be typing, we will be receiving in this function, and we can update our title and we'll pass the text. So our text input and state are in sync with each other. The same thing we have to do for the content. So I will do, and I will add a little bit of style. I will add it style afterwards. I'll duplicate this, and here I'll write enter content, and here instead of this title I'll write content content, and here set content, set content. Okay, let's save this, and let's click on this. Okay, if we click here, you can see I can type, but we are barely able to see, we are not able to see. So maybe we can add a little bit of the style to this, right? So let's create a style below somewhere here, right? Because we'll be reusing that, because we'll be giving the style to both the component. Yeah, sometime I give inline style, sometime I prefer to create somewhere below in here. You should always create your styles below in here, because it's easier for me to make you understand. That is why I give inline style in here. Sty style sheet dot create and input, and font size. First of all, I will increase the font size to, let's say, 20. I will give border border width of 1, and border color of black, right? Let's save this, and let's add the style to in here. So here I can add style style dot no, not like this, style dot input. I can copy this, Control C. I can add this style to this input. Let's save this, and let's have a look now in here. Oh, so it is looking decent, but it needs a little bit of the margin, right? So we need to give margin from the top as well as from the bottom. So we can make use of margin vertical, margin verti vertical, and let's say 8. Let's save this, and I have made a typo, vertical. Let's save this now, and yeah, it is looking a little bit ugly, right? So we will be adding margin to our whole view as well in here. Margin, let's say 3, right? From top, left, right, down. Okay, so it's looking decent, but not that great, right? But it's decent. Yeah, it's decent. Or maybe, yeah, I can increase a little bit, maybe 6 or maybe 8. Let's save this now. And yeah, it is fine. It is fine for now, right? Okay, it is fine for now. Now maybe we can increase this content, maybe height little bit, this the height of this text input. For that, here I can add number of lines and you number of lines. Let's give it a 3. And uh, for user to be able to type on multiple lines, so here I need to add this multi-line, right? So that user should be able to type on the 3 lines. Here this will be a kind of true. Let's save this. So yeah, and if you see, we can type, and let's say if we type lots of content in here, let's say if the content has been shifted to next line, okay, so multi-line is working also, right? Okay, it's fine. Okay, now it is decent. Okay, now again I want a little button to submit this title and context. So to make button, I'll use touchable opacity. Again, TOUCHA opacity, and inside this text, here I can write maybe save, SAVE, right? And we'll increase the text, right? Style of font size to 22 maybe. Let's save this and let's see how it looks like. Oh, I'll add a style to this as well, STYLE, and background color of, let's say, blue, and maybe I can give this a height. No, or first let's save this and let's see how it looks like. Okay, I can add a padding to it, PADDING, padding of, let's say, 20. It's too much, maybe I can cut down to 12. Let's save this. Yeah, it's decent. And I can make the color of this text to white. Yeah, and now I can center the text, right? For that I can add here text align, and if I write here center, let's say this. Okay, it's nicely centered out, and now I can add a little margin from horizontal to reduce this width, right? Here I can write here margin horizontal, and let's say 10. Let's say this. Yeah, we can increase a little bit, 20. Let's save this. Okay, now I will also add a border. Let's write everything on a new line in here. In here I'll add a border, border radius instead. Let's say 10. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, it's looking nice, beautiful. And I can add a little margin from top, I guess. Yeah, let's save this. I will increase a little bit, 30. Let's save this. Okay, it's decent. If you want, you can give more styles, right? Or I can increase the horizontal margin horizontal to 30. Yeah, it's decent. It's fine for now, right? Okay, let's say if this click is clickable, right? It is clickable. Okay, it is clickable. Okay, so now if user clicks on this, I'll attach on press. If user clicks on this, we will dispatch, right? We will dispatch DISPA TCH dispatch, not this DISPA TCH, my bad, dispatch an action, right, with the type 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 of, let's say, remove oh, not remove, type will be add. But first of all, we don't have the access to dispatch, right? Yeah, let's go to our what was the file list node, and here first of all I need to import the context, control C and control V, and uh, where is the line, yeah, this line, you can copy this, control C, and here we need use context as well, and now we can paste this line, right? And now instead we want this dispatch, right? So we have access to that now. Okay, we'll be passing a payload, payload payload, and in this payload we'll be passing title, 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 right? And this will be equal to the title, right? And here again you can see the name is same, so I can just condense it down to just title, and I can condense the content as well to just content, content. And now I am passing this both the things in the payload, right? Now let's have a look on a reducer in here. So if action type is add, now we need to change this logic. Okay, we are spreading our state, this is okay. We are adding our ID, this is okay. But here title will be now coming from payload. You know, here we can do something better. Instead of writing action.payload, here we can destructure payload and type from that. Here we can destructure type from action and payload payload. Now here we can just type now type, and here we can just type payload like so. And now in here we can write payload payload dot title title title, and here we have content as well, and this is coming from payload dot content like so. So I think we should write this on a new line maybe so that it is readable. Okay, yeah, so this is how yeah, so right now we are just showing the title on a screen, right? Let's save this and let's see if this works, right? If the new logic works. So yeah, so I'll click on this plus. Let's say title is amazing, and I'll put a random text in here. Right now we are just showing the title. I will click on the save. If I go back here, we can see amazing title, right? So this is working, right? Things are taking shape, right? Now what I want is when user will click on this, the user will be able to navigate to another screen, and there user can see the title and the content as well. Yeah, so let's see how to do that in the next video. So now let's move further and let's create our one more screen, right? So in here we'll be getting our one more screen, and we will give it a name of show note screen, SEREEN.js, show screen. And I'll go to this, I'll copy these two lines, control C, and I will paste it in here to save a little bit of time. Const show note, and for now it will return not this view. We should be capital. Why I'm making so much typo today? Text, and let's say show for now. Okay, we'll export it as a default, export export fa default sho show note like so. Now we can import it, right? Where is our app.js? We will alt shift down key, and here I will write show note screen, and this will be coming from screen slash show note screen. And now I'll duplicate this, and in here I can write here show show. It will show the show note screen, and here we can write not for now, just note. Okay, we'll save this. Now we'll work on this component. So when we will be able to see this component, when user will click on this uh, particular node, right? So you'll be able to see the title and the content as well, both the things, right? So for that, first of all, we need to go to our our list node screen, and we need to pass the ID while navigating, right? So when user will click on this whole view, so user will be able to navigate to the show screen, right? And we need to pass the ID, right? So to make this whole view clickable, we will be using this TOUCHA touchable opacity again, right? And I will Control X and I will put it in here, and here I will attach on press prop on press, and let's see if we are receiving navigation. Yeah, we are receiving navigation, so I'll make use of it. NAVIGATION navigation dot NAVIGAT navigate, and navigate to show SHOW. Let's see, we gave show name, right? We gave name here show. Okay. Okay. Now we will be passing ID while navigating. So I'll be passing ID, and ID, we have access to ID in this item, right? Here we have item dot ID, like so. Let's save this. Okay. So we need to do one more logic when we are creating a context, we are dispatching, and then again we need to make user again navigate back to our home screen, right? For that, here we can again make use of NAVIGATION. Let's see if we are receiving navigation prop. No, so we'll destructure out navigation from props, NAVIGATION navigation, and navigation dot, here I can call go back to go to previous screen, right? Okay, yeah, so let's save this, and I'll go to my show note screen. In here I'm receiving the ID, right? I'm receiving the ID. So here I can destructure route, right? ROUTE route. Now from route we have something called as params, right? So I can destructure out ID from ROUTE route dot params params, right? Now let's say here I'll duplicate this, and here I'll show the ID, particular ID, right? Let's say see ID, like so. Now let's see if this works, right? Okay, let's create TI title 1 and amazing content, and if I click on save, I should be able to navigate to again back to this screen. If I click on this, here we can see the particular ID, right? This is amazing, right? Okay, this is amazing. We are able to delete that as well, right? Okay, fine, everything is working expected. Now we need to work on this component. Okay, now in here we need to iterate over the array, and we need to compare the existing ID with this ID, right? Again, we need to make use of the use context hook in here. We are importing in here, so in here we need to import that. So we'll go to this. Yeah, so I can copy this, Control C, and I can paste it in my show note screen, Control V, and in here I can make use of const const. Let's write state and dispatch, and use context. Use redux is too tough, right? Redux is too tough, really. Notes context, N-O-T-S, note context. Okay. Now we have access to the state, right? We have access to the state. We don't need to do anything with dispatch, so I'll get rid of this. Okay. Now I need to iterate over the array and I need to check that this ID, right? This ID, and I need to somehow print the ID, right? The ID with particular which I am passing. I need to print the title and the content, right? Which is matching with this particular ID. Okay. How to do that? So in order to do that, we have a find method in that array. So any state we can add a find method, and it takes a function and it will receive individual ID's record, right? Record, and it will return a particular record if the condition becomes true. So it will return Control Z. Okay. It will return if the record record dot id matches to, so it is equal to the id which we have passed. So let's save this in a const maybe note, right? Now in here we can print out note dot content and here note dot title. Like so. If you save this, right, and let's create something in here and let's save this. If I click on this, so here we can see the title and the content. So we'll be increasing a little bit of the size to that of it. Okay, so let's give this a little style, or we should create a style somewhere here below. Dot create and my text, I'll give this a key of my text and I'll increase the font size to, let's say, 22, right? If I save this and I will align the text to center, so here I'll write text ALIGN align and center. I will give this view a flex of 1 STYLE. And I will give the style styles dot my text, and I will copy this, Control C, and I will give this in here, save. And if I have a look, okay, it's decent, it's decent. We need to give a little margin from the top, right? Or we need to give that margin top to this view. Let's save this. Yeah, for now this is fine, right? Okay, so this is it for the video. So we'll be working on how to update these records as well in the next video. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's see how we can edit a particular record or note, we can say. So for that we'll be creating a separate screen. So let's do that. So inside this screen I'll create one more file and I will give the name of edit note screen.js. Now this edit screen will look same as our create note screen. So I'll copy all the content in here, Control A, Control C, and I will put it in here, Control V. And I don't know if here I will change the title, let's say enter, or here we can write up update title, and here we can write update content. Yeah, update content, like so. And I think rest everything is fine. Let's change the name this create note screen, right? So I'll do Control D and create note screen, right? So you can use this Control D to edit the multiple occurrence. Okay, create not node, create note T, like so. Okay, so this is fine, right? Now we should be able to navigate to this screen. So for that we can create a button inside this list node screen, or not in the list, in this show node screen we can create a button. So let's copy, right, this button, right. This button is lying in uh, list node screen, yeah. So we can copy this whole view, right, control C, and I will go to this edit, and in here inside this view I can paste this view, and yeah, and let's first have a look how it looks like. And yeah, I will save this, and let's create something in here. Let's create a note. Let's say amazing uh, TIT title, and amazing content, like so. And here I'll click on the save, and yeah, and if I click on this, oh, the button is not visible. Why is that a case? So, oh, we haven't no, we have pasted in our edit screen. So, oh, we have pasted this button in an edit screen. No, we don't want that. We instead we need to paste this button in this uh, note screen, right, list note screen. Yeah, okay. So I will copy this again, or I will cut it, control X, and I will put this button in my where is show note screen, right. Okay, I'll put it in here, control V. Let's save this, and I think I need to go that back again. Let's save this screen as well. And if, oh, so it's refreshing in here. So again we need to create a title, and uh, root view gesture already initialized. So let's create one more, and amazing, and I'll put a random stuff in here. Let's save this, and if we click this, cannot find variable undesign. Okay, so where is our show note screen? Yeah, so here we need to pull this undesign. Yeah, so I'll pull out import something from @expo / vector icons, and the something is called undesign, right. We are making use of touchable opacity. Okay, rest everything should be fine. And now creating a kind of a note again and again is a kind of a pain. So instead we can put some initial data in our array just for the testing purpose, right. So I'll go to my reducer, and inside it I will put a random stuff in here. I'll put ID of 1 just for the testing purpose, title of something in here, and content of something in here. Let's save this, and now we have this default card in here, right, default record in here, default note. If I click on this, so here we can see edit. Now I want to change this icon, right. So let's again go to our expo icons, expo vector icons, and let's search for a kind of a pencil icon if we have. Let's search for edit. Yep, from undesign, maybe we can search for, let's say, pencil pencil. Do we have something from undesign? Nope. So maybe this is looking nicer, edit to, we can use it from feather, or maybe this edit, this is nicer, and we can use that from feather. Let's use that. Where is our show note screen? Here we will be using feather. So instead of undesign, here we'll be using feather, right, here feather, feather, and the name will be edit. Let's save this, and now it should be changed to this edit, right. So this is a nice, right, it is looking nice, it is looking beautiful. Okay, now when user will click on this, we'll be navigating user to the edit screen, right. and it's easy to do that. First of all, we need to wire up our edit screen, right, in this app.js. So in here I'll duplicate this, Alt Shift down key, and first of all I need to import that screen, right? Import edit note notscreen from /src/screen/edit note screen, like so. And maybe in here, instead of show, I can write edit, and in here this will show edit note screen, like so. Yep. And now here inside this show note screen, when user will click on this button, right, or on this button, we will navigate user to edit screen, edit, like so. Now let's test this out. If I click on this, we should be able to, oh, cannot find variable navigation. So we don't have access to navigation, so here we'll pull out navigati navigation, navigati. Okay, let's do this one more time. If we click on this, and here we are able to see this, right, update title and update content. Yeah, and we can change this a title, right, update note to update note. For that we'll come to this and we'll write here upd update note, like so. Now let's say if user is clicking on this update node, what I want is to, if user clicks on this, I want this title and content to be already written in here, right? I want this title and content to be pre-typed, right, to be already mentioned in here, right? User don't need to write that from scratch, right? How to do that? We want to pre-populate the title and data, right, whichever user is editing, right? How to do that? Let's see. Now let's go to this show note screen, and in here, while navigating to edit, do we have access to ID? Yeah, we have access to ID. So what we'll do, we'll pass an ID while navigating. So I'll pass my ID, and we have access to ID in this ID, right? So I can write ID colon ID. Now here you can see again name and the value both are same, so I can just condense it down to just ID. Now in this my edit screen, I can pull out that particular particular parameter by using this route prop. Now in here I can write const ID. This will be coming from route route.params, like so. And now I can make use of again a find method, right, to find a particular record which has that ID. So again we have access to state in here, right? So here we can write state dot find, find, and find will take a function, and it will have a particular record, record record, and this will return a particular record if the condition becomes true. So the ID which we have inside this record dot ID is equal to the ID which we are receiving, then we need to return that post, right? So we'll store that in a, let's say, const particul, a particular note. I will give it a name of particular note, parti. Okay, now what I can do, I can control X this, and I will put this state below in here, and now I will give this initial value of a state which will be coming from this particular note, right? Yeah, so I'll write here particular parti particular note dot title title. I want to extract from this record title. I want to pre-populate the title, and I want to pre-populate parti particular note dot content. So now let's see. I think the title and the content should be pre-populated now. If we click on this, and here you can see the title and this update content is now pre-populated, right? And everything is in sync with our state, right? Okay. Yeah, this was a kind of a nice thing, right? So now next video, let's see how we can update this particular record. So I'll see you guys in the next video. So now let's see how we can update the particular record, a particular node, right? So first of all, I'll change this save text to update note maybe. So for that, I can change this. I will come to this edit notes node screen. Oh my bad, I should write this T, right? Okay. Here I can write up update note. Leave that for now. I have made a silly typo. You can change it if you want. Okay. Update note. If I save this, and yeah, update note. Okay, it's fine. I'll make U capital. Okay. Now when user will click on this particular button, we will dispatch an action, and instead of add, I'll dispatch an action update update, and yeah, inside this payload I will pass title and content, right? Nothing's need to be changed in here because now this title and content are updated, which are coming from the state, right? Okay, so yeah, I'll write update in capital letters, update update, like so. Now we need to create this kind of a action, right? We need to create a case to handle this update action. Okay, so we'll go to our reducer. Where is our node reducer? Inside this, we will create one more case, and let's give it a name of updat update, like so. Now how we are going to update, let me write the code first and then I'll explain. You will iterate over the state using map, and we'll get a particular record, record record, record, and now I need to do one more thing. While updating, I need to also pass an ID, right? I also need to pass an ID. So here I'll write ID comma, and yeah, we have the access to the ID of the particular record. So yeah, I'll pass an ID equal to ID, so I can just condense it down to ID. So I need to pass ID as well, right? Now I'll again come to my reducer. Now we will return return the record if our ID, right? Our ID is matching to that record, right? So for that, our ID is coming from this payload.id, right? And if this is equal to record.id, then we want to return that particular record, else we want to return. So I think I need to put this inside a if condition, right? Yeah, so I'll put this inside if condition, and yeah, I need to put this inside this if condition. If this ID is equal, then I want to return, then I have to return the whole payload, and then payload is basically an object which has ID, title and content. Then I want to return a payload, else we want to return that record, right? Okay, I think this is the logic. If the ID is equal, right, then we need to return the updated record, and if ID is not equal, then we need to return all those rest records, right? So I think this should be the logic and this should work, right? And I need to put a return in here. So let's test this out, but first of all, let's save this first, and again come to this edit node screen, and in here we are writing here go back. Instead of go back, we will navigate user to our home screen, right? What is the name of that? The name of that is all nodes. Oh, not all nodes, this nodes. Okay, notes nodes. I think that should be the logic in here, or maybe we can make it yeah, this is the logic, right? Yeah, this should be the logic. Okay, So now I can get rid of this record, right? Or maybe I can just test this, right? Yeah, let's update this to AMA Amazing TIT and AMA Amazing COURSE course. And if I click on this update node, oh, navigation is not a function. Okay, navigation.navigate. Okay, let's click on this update node one more time. And yeah, it is working fine. Let's try to create one more node in order to test that. I'll write something randomly in here, right? And I will click on the save, right? But now what I will do, I'll create one more, let's say AMA amazing amazing 3, and I will write a kind of a random content, and again I'll click on the save. Now let's change this, right, this particular record. Okay, let's click on this edit and edited title, and boom. Okay, so let's click on this update node and everything is working, right? As you can see, the second record is updated. Okay, so I think we are done with this project, right? We have used context heavily in this project. I know that we are not persisting this data to that any database, or we are not persisting this data to device storage using async storage, because we have already done that, right? The main purpose of this project was to understand the context API, and we have understood, right? Now you can go ahead and you can replace this context with Redux, or you can persist this data to database. We have done that in our employee app. Instead, one homework which I will give you is you can reuse this edit node screen, because this edit node screen and create node screen are almost similar, right? So you can reuse that. We have done that in our employee app. We reused our create employee screen and update employee screen, right? So this is a kind of a one homework, and one more homework is you should replace this context code with the Redux, right? Yeah, so you need to do minor changes, right? So you can do that by yourself, because we have learned Redux as well, right? Okay, so this is it for this course, and I will see you guys in maybe in the future course.